Like, share, subscribe. Shouts out to the Lions Den community. And don't y'all forget to subscribe to the podcast show. Link will be pinned in the top of the chat.
Just name the channel who can bang with us. I'll prove that you are smoking dust. GTV Media is top notch in this game, y'all. You failures only have your self to blame, y'all. Cricket TV and a weapons make you suckers cry. Why don't you close your channel, crawl into a hole and die? Shout out to those who love our movement, no, we'll never flop until you get your mouth on LVBC. We are the underground outfit, y'all. We built this whole thing by ourselves, no in y'all. Independence start with self-preservation. If you can't take care of self, then how can you build a nation, y'all? Yeah, we got that merch for the ladies and yes, we even got that merch for the babies and we got appliances and everything that you will need. We got some banging songs that make anemic haters bleed.
All right, y'all, just as I went off, got some breaking news right back. I told y'all this yesterday during the case hearing, but they didn't want to listen to me. But as soon as I went offline from that video I just did, breaking news, y'all. Now, all these people that was in the streets celebrating, Diddy got a big victory, he got a big victory. Told y'all yesterday, man, the truth will always shine bright. And I told y'all during that trial yesterday, I said, why didn't the prosecution ask why that photos wasn't marked legal when they took the pictures in the actual raid? Remember, they didn't take the paperwork. They only took photos at that time. So Diddy could have written anything on there afterwards. But breaking news, Diddy is in some deep, you know what? Because the judge this morning, right now, has come back with some bad news. Now, the judge, according to this document, has some questions for Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers before tomorrow about their claim that the notebooks were labeled legal. He wants Diddy's lawyers to explain why this label doesn't appear in the photographs that the feds and the jail investigators took when they raided Diddy's cell. They're not on those photographs that were time-stamped. They never took Diddy's paperwork. So what could have happened? Potentially, he could have written it on there afterwards. Took it to court and said, look, this said legal. But I told you, they didn't take his paperwork. They only took photos at that time with timestamp photos. And they have it all on video. And the writing is right there in this paperwork that the judge just dropped today. The judge to Diddy's lawyers, Judge Aaron Submarinian, United States District Judge, in his November the 19th letter to the court filed prior to the hearing that same day, the defendant, P. Diddy, stated a government investigator took photographs of several items, including intact pages from 2 different legal pads and ripped out pages of other legal pads, DKT 75 at 1, right? The letter also described the legal pads in detail and argued that they were privileged in part of because on top of his legal pads and notes, the defendant has a folder marked legal, which put anyone on notice that everything along with the folder marked legal is attorney-client material, ID at 1 through 2. At the November the 19th, 2024 hearing, defense counsel presented the court with an intact legal pad. Liar, liar, pants on, got daggone fire. with legal written on the binding, stating that the legal label on this and other pads showed that they were clearly protected by a attorney-client privilege and should not be in the government's possession. The court notes that the sealed exhibit to the government's brief at DKT 72 through 1 includes photographs of two intact legal pads taken at the time of the BOP sweep. There is no writing on neither binding of the pads. There is no writing on the binding of either pad. At the scheduled hearing on Friday, 22nd, 2024, the defense counsel should be prepared to give the court further context on the legal label that the court was presented with yesterday, hearing to address why this label did not appear in the photographs taken during the sweep that were in the court's possession, and why it wasn't addressed in Diddy's submission to the court made a few hours before November the 19th, 2024 hearing. So ordered, dated November the 20th, 2024, New York, New York, Judge Aaron Sumranian. Put these ninjas in the trash can. Leave them outside of the door on the trash, man. It's over with. Did I tell y'all this? Easy work. These boys don't read the paperwork. The judge went back and said, hold on. The judge said, hold on. They didn't confiscate, and the feds outsmart this dummy. The feds did not confiscate the papers. They were smart. The feds were smart. They let this boy lie in open court. Whoa! They let this fool lie in open court. This man wrote legal, allegedly, on the papers before he went into the courthouse. But the feds were smart because the Fed, and I told y'all this yesterday during the trial. The feds were smart because the feds took timestamp pictures of all of the things and they have it on videotape. Diddy's lawyer said nothing about this before they went to court yesterday. They just handed the judge the papers and said, look, all this stuff said legal. You got to throw it out. So now, tomorrow, Diddy's... Hey, man. Hey, listen. So I wonder if y'all gonna drop this news that just came from the rafters, baby. From the rafters. But right now, as soon as I got online, I said, what? Notification. Oh, yeah, the judge, he want to know why that they marked those photos legal after the raid. Allegedly. I think I snapped. See? Try to tell you guys, man. Man, listen, man. You can read it yourself. Put it right there on the screen for y'all. I put it right there on the screen for y'all. So y'all would know I was never capping. I told y'all this yesterday in court. If I was the prosecution, I said, hold on, Judge. That's the only thing I was mad at the prosecution for yesterday. The prosecution should have dealt with this yesterday. I said, hold on, Judge. These timestamp photos we got right here, don't none of this say legal on none of these photos. These are all timestamped, and you can go look at the video from the raid. We got it right there on video where we took the pictures. We didn't confiscate any of the papers. Diddy came into court yesterday with the papers in his hand. He had the papers the whole time. So he could have wrote legal on those papers at any time. Bro, they are letting Diddy hang himself. This is crazy. And now the judge has come back this morning and said Diddy's legal team better be prepared to answer why, when they took these photos, it didn't say legal on any of them. But when you came to court yesterday, with Diddy had those papers in his hand, it said, and the feds were smart. They outsmarted Diddy. The feds did not take the paperwork. They did not take the paperwork. The feds only took the picture because they knew this fool would do something dumb. Allegedly. They outsmarted this boy. They shitting bricks because tomorrow it's gonna all go down. So y'all was like, oh yeah, Diddy got a major win. No, he didn't. Nigga took another L, just like all you niggas. That's capping, nigga. I was never capping, nigga. I stand on top of all this shit, nigga, because my mind is on a different mother freaking level, baby. You better believe that. And when this shit was going down yesterday, I said this shit during the live stream. I said, yo, man, hold on 1 second. I said, why the judge and why the prosecution didn't just look at the pictures right there to see right there in the pictures? In the pictures, it didn't say legal. In none of the pictures did it say legal. But now when Diddy has the paperwork, remember, because everybody was like, oh yeah, they told him to burn the papers up. How could you burn papers up? You never had the papers. The judge told them to get rid of the photos they had. But guess what the judge did? The judge thought about it overnight. And he went back and said, hold on. The judge said, hold on. They took those pictures during the raid. That was time stamped. In the raid, none of those pictures said legal on those documents. But Diddy brought me these documents that says legal and handed it to me yesterday in the court. And those papers said legal, but in the actual timestamp photos, when they did the raid and they took the pictures because they didn't confiscate the papers, none of it said legal. And it's right here in writing. I can read it to you in English, French, Spanish, however you want it, Chinese, Japanese. How you want me to say it? How you want me to say it? Tú sabes que tú quieres conmigo, payaso. Hey, oui. Listen, read this again. It's right here on your screen. The judge just hit Diddy and his lawyers with a death blow. Diddy's lawyers got to go to court tomorrow and explain why in the aftermath was legal written on the folders, but it wasn't there when they did the raid. Uh-oh. And the photos that the government took when they did the raid, they were time-stamped, and they have the video from the raid to prove that they took those pictures because they said yesterday that they would provide the video. It's over with. And the judge says tomorrow, his lawyers better be prepared to explain how on God's green earth. Now read this again. And shout out to whoever just sent that donation. Phyllis Smith, salute to you. She said, Tiki, you be on a lot of work. You already know I'm smart. Listen, them niggas is right here celebrating like this a party. Nothing here, nigga. Let's have a party. Let's have a party, nigga. Let's have a paperwork party, nigga. Let's have a paperwork party. And then you had the old boy who was locked down. He was on the news today. And he said if Diddy gets bail, he working with the feds. I'm going to play that for y'all in just a second. But hold on. Watch this right here. Look at y'all's screen right here. Read one more time. The judge dropped a bomb from Harlem. Forget Brooklyn. He dropped a bomb from Harlem this morning. Because read the paperwork. This is the first time the judge has wrote any letter in this case. The judge went home last night and he looked at that paperwork and he said, hold on, I got to think about this. Read what the judge said. The judge says United States of America against Sean Combs. Aaron Sumranian. I'll put it right there on y'all screen so y'all can see it. United States District Judge. You want to see what the judge looks like? I can show you a picture of the judge too. You know, y'all niggas know me. Hey, nigga, I'm surgical with this thing, nigga. I'm surgical with this thing, nigga. I'm surgical with this thing, nigga. I'm surgical with this thing. See, I'm going to show y'all the picture of the judge too. Just so y'all, this is the judge that Diddy got picked. So they can't say, oh man, the judge is going against Diddy, because the judge has ruled everything in Diddy's favor up until now. And I have a picture of the judge that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a picture of the judge right now. That's the judge right there. That's Diddy's judge. So Diddy don't got 3 different judges. This is the judge he got. The judge told them, he ruled in Diddy's favor and said, look, take off the shackles when he come into court. He ruled in Diddy's favor, gave him the evidentiary hearing yesterday. He ruled in that evidentiary hearing is going to be the nail in his coffin, Diddy's coffin. I'm going to tell y'all why. And I think that they did that just to let Diddy hang himself in open court. That's what I think happened. I personally think that they did that to let Diddy hang himself in open court under the penalty of perjury. So if y'all didn't think they already had that, well, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's read this paperwork one more time, because this is the first time that the judge has wrote paperwork. Now, he went yesterday after that hearing was over, because remember, if you're not watching the case and you're just reading articles, you don't know what's going on. You can't talk about this. In this case, when they went to court yesterday, the government never seized those papers from Diddy's personal. The only thing they did was take timestamp photos. So they took those timestamp photos from Diddy's personal. Shout out to Keish 47 with the donation. Salute to you. They took the timestamp photos. They never confiscated his papers. The government is outsmarting this nigga on every platform. First of all, think about this, y'all. They let Diddy go as long as he wanted, breaking jail rules. You know why? Because they let his shit add up. Because it just gives them more ammunition. I told you, this is how the feds work. The feds will let you hang yourself. So the longer you're doing dumb shit, the more you feel like you're getting away with it, the more you're allowing them to build a bigger case against you. They're coming with obstruction charges against him for that shit he did in jail. Trust me when I tell you this. You don't have to believe me. You better believe me. They're using Diddy that whole time to find out. And this is the reason why they never blew the whistle on Diddy when he was doing that shit in jail, breaking those rules. Because they were figuring out who was he talking to. The more they didn't say anything and let Diddy get comfortable, Diddy slipping. He's slipping because the minute they took him out of isolation and put him into the low security bunk, he should have known something was up. Why in the hell did they let me, in this case, go into a low security bunk? Low security. Look it up now. So he's in a low security bunk, y'all. Think about this. Doing whatever his heart desires in a low security bunk, right? Now think about this, y'all. You're in that bunk. They giving you phones. Dudes is fighting to make up your bed, allegedly. The feds say they got over dozens of phone calls recorded of Diddy. They have over hundreds of text messages from the third-party text messaging app. They say that Diddy was calling people on three-way, unauthorized, with his lawyers on the phone. This is what they said in the federal writing that they have on Diddy. They never charged Diddy. You know why? Because the feds are smart. The feds said, you know what? We ain't gonna. They could have went and cracked Diddy the first time he broke jail rules. But that's not gonna get them what they wanted. They wanted to sit back and analyze every single thing he was doing. And they wanted to see where this thing led and who he was talking with. Because they said he was talking with unauthorized people on those three-way calls. Which means when you're not authorized, when you get locked up and go to jail, they give you a list. On that list, you have to put the names, the phone number, the email address, and the contact information for those people that are approved to be on your contact list. Anybody else that's unapproved is illegal for you to talk to them. It's against jail rules. What Diddy was doing, the feds say, they have him on video, on audio recordings, making three-way calls, speaking to unauthorized people who were not on his phone list. You know what they did? Instantly found out who he's talking to. So any of y'all that was talking to Diddy on those songs, and you listening now, the feds is on your ass. If I was you, I wouldn't say a word, because the feds have been monitoring you and monitoring your connection to Diddy. And you don't have to believe me. Just go read the paperwork yourself. I got all the paperwork right here, and I've read all the paperwork. If you listen to my channel, you listen to all the paperwork. But now, check it out, y'all. It is over, because this is what happened. They let Diddy break all those. I'm telling y'all, they're going to come with all this shit in a superseding indictment. Watch what I tell y'all. They let Diddy break all those rules and didn't charge him one time, because they were this is what the feds do. The feds will be on you for 2, 3, 4 years, won't say nothing until they build a super gigantic case. This is why the feds have such a great win percentage, because the feds, if they come for you early and you take a plea, you might not get nothing. But if the feds have so much on you that the plea you take still gonna get you 15 to 20, they won. That's why the feds take their time and investigate you. They take their time and let you F up. I think, and this is what I think, because it said in the report that they had the investigators interview the jail inmates. I think, this is what I think. I think it was a plant. I think somebody was planted to help set Diddy up. They knew Diddy was going to go for it. Put him in a low security, help set him up, give him some good food, give him some good whatever treatment, You know what I'm saying? Give him more showers. Said just give him 5 showers a week, allegedly. You know, let him feel comfortable. Get him in there, low security, and then let's let him start. And then once you feel like you're getting away with it, damn, they ain't running down on me doing nothing. You start slipping and saying stuff you ain't supposed to say. Remember, they said they got him on phone calls saying all those different things on those phone calls. I told y'all that yesterday. But check out what the feds did that Ether Diddy right here, bro. Because they knew he was going to go against his own will. When they did the raid was already going to be done. But they also had backup and probable cause to do the raid because of the phone calls. Notice that Diddy's lawyers never talked about those audio recordings in court yesterday. The only thing they talked about was the paperwork, and they claimed it was marked legal, and it wasn't. Only one of them was. Because if you look at the raid paperwork, go look at the paperwork from the raids. Or go look at the writing from the raids. The feds were smart. They didn't confiscate Diddy's actual papers. The feds said, no, we're not going to confiscate it. What we're going to do is we're going to take pictures of everything. And the videos on the whole raid is on video. So they're going to show the video because the judge asked for the video yesterday, said they're going to produce the video. They're going to show the video of the raid to show you they didn't confiscate any of his paperwork from his bunk. That all they did was what they said they did, take pictures of everything. So now Diddy came into court yesterday. This whole time they never confiscated the paperwork physically. They only had the photos and they sent that to the filter team before it went to the case team to make sure that they didn't have any attorney-client privilege information. So that's why I was upset yesterday at the prosecution, because when they went to court with the photos yesterday. None of the photos said legal. Time-stamped from that raid. But when Diddy went to court yesterday, this is the biggest mistake he made. He went to court. They left the papers with Diddy. And when Diddy came to court, all of a sudden, the papers that didn't say legal now said legal. So when the judge saw that yesterday, he said, hold on. These papers say legal on them. What do you guys got to say about that, prosecution? The prosecutor was instantly supposed to say yesterday, oh, well, the photos that we have timestamped, none of these say legal. So the judge says, oh, well, y'all got to, those photos right there, y'all can't use those tomorrow in the bail hearing. Y'all got to take those out of y'all record. They never confiscated the photos. Diddy had them in his possession the whole time. Because remember, go back and look. Diddy, the lawyer, walked up to the judge and handed the judge the papers yesterday. Because Diddy had them. And then he gave them back to Diddy, and they talked about how Diddy walked out the courtroom with the papers in his hand. Diddy never lost possession of those papers. They just took the paperwork. That's why I always read the paperwork. So this morning, last night, after he adjourned, Judge Submarinian, this guy right here, he went into his chambers and thought about that. And he said, hold on. The photos that was timestamped from the raid, they didn't have legal marked on them. None of these photos have legal. But Diddy brought me this paper to court that said all legal. Hold on. The judge is thinking, did he write legal on those papers after the fact and then bring them to court today and say they were all legal? Because this is where Diddy slipped up, in my opinion. My opinion. We're going to find out if I'm right or wrong. In my opinion, Diddy slipped up because he wrote legal on those papers when, in fact, from the beginning, because remember, on those papers, they have reportedly Diddy talking about witnesses. One of the papers was supposed to have said that Diddy was going to pay Big Nose. And y'all know who Big Nose is, as the witness who flipped. Another one talked about how Diddy allegedly wanted to find info on one of the victims, dirt on one of the victims, right? Very, very, very compromising information that he had written down. But it wasn't in the legal pad. It was in the to-do pad, which was absolutely legal and in bounds for the feds to confiscate. That's why the feds took pictures and they didn't confiscate, because the feds were outsmarting Diddy. The feds never confiscated that paperwork because the Diddy's lawyers could then say, oh, well, they changed the writing. The feds were smart as hell. They said, no, we're going to take pictures. You keep the paperwork. That way they can't say we didn't write anything or alter those papers in any way. That's why Diddy walked in the courtroom yesterday with the papers in his hand, not the prosecution. They only had the timestamp photos that they took from the raid. Hence, last night, after the judge ruled that they had to get rid of those photos, but he said, y'all can't use those photos tomorrow. He said, we're going to revisit that. He didn't say, hey, y'all got to destroy them. He said, y'all can't use those tomorrow, right? The judge went to Chambers last night and said, hold on. He looked and said, hold on. These photos that are timestamped, none of them say legal. But Diddy came into court yesterday with the papers in his hand and they said legal. But the prosecution, they never took the papers from Diddy. And it's on video. So the judge wrote a letter this morning to the world. This is the first letter the judge has written at all in this case. Read the timestamp on the top of your screen. It comes out today. Filed the 20th of November, 2024, this morning. The judge says, and we'll read it one more time. Judge Aaron Subramanian, United States District Judge, in his November the 19th, 2024 letter, you can read along with me, it's right there on the left-hand side of your screen, to the court, filed prior. Think about this. In his November the 19th, 2024 letter to the court, filed prior to the hearing that same day, the defendant Diddy stated that a government investigator took photographs of several items, including intact pages from 2 different legal pads, and ripped out pages of other legal pads. Document 75 at 1. The letter also described the legal pads in detail and argued that they were privileged in part because, and I quote, on top of his legal pads and notes, Diddy, the defendant, has a folder that's marked legal, which put anyone on notice that everything along with the folder marked legal is attorney-client material. ID at 1 through 2. At the November the 19th, 2024 hearing, that was yesterday, the defense, Diddy's counsel, his lawyers, presented the court with an intact legal pad with the legal word written on the binding, stating that the legal label on this and the other pad showed that day were clearly protected by attorney-client privilege and should not be in the government's possession. Now, read the second paragraph, what the judge said. The court notes that the sealed exhibit to the government's brief at document 72 through 1 includes photographs, of 2 intact legal pads taken at the time of the BOP sweep. There is no writing on the binding of either pad. At the scheduled hearing at the scheduled hearing tomorrow. Now listen to what the judge says. At the scheduled hearing tomorrow, Friday, November the 22nd, 2024, Diddy's counsel, the defense counsel, should be prepared To give the court further context on the quote-unquote legal label that the court was presented with November the 19th, 2024 hearing, and to address why this label does not appear on the photographs in the court's possession and why it wasn't addressed in the defendant's submission to the court made a few hours before the November the 19th, 2024 hearing. So ordered, dated November the 20th, 2024, New York, New York. Signed Judge Arn Subramanian, United States District Judge. They let Diddy hang himself, in my opinion. Because what's going to happen is tomorrow, they're going to say Diddy tampered with evidence in court. They're going to bring the videotape of the raid. They're going to show that they only took photos of those folders that had not said legal on them. And then they're going to prove the timestamp photos that they took because they didn't confiscate the paperwork. They let Diddy, this is where the feds outsmarted Diddy. If the feds would have confiscated the paperwork, Diddy would have had him. He would have been able to say, oh yeah, they changed it. They did not confiscate the paperwork. They were smart. They only took photos. That way they could say, these are the actual timestamp photos we took when we did the raid. And we have the raid on camera so you can see we did not confiscate any of his paperwork. Diddy came into the court yesterday with the paperwork in his hand. So the only person that could have altered anything on those papers was Diddy. And that's why the judge said tomorrow, Diddy's lawyers need be ready to explain why legal was on those paperwork pads, but it wasn't when they did the raid and took those photos. In my opinion, Diddy's biggest mistake, and I think that whole hearing was a setup to let Diddy hang himself even more. That's just my thoughts. Because without that hearing, Diddy does not have these type of situations going on in open court. Because tomorrow, if they prove that Diddy lied in court under the penalty of perjury, under oath, that's another charge. That's another charge. So Diddy's going to have to explain. He can't say, oh, well, they took my paper. He can't say that because they have on video that they never confiscated the paperwork. They only took photos. And all these people was running around, raising their hands in the air, talking about victory, saying, yeah, we got to win. No, nigga, you took a loss. You took a loss, man. And God don't like ugly, nigga. The truth always gonna shine, regardless of what you want to think. You can live in any kind of darkness you want to live in, but the light is always gonna shine. And another thing to add on top of this, today on the news, they said that the only way Diddy gets bail is if he's working with the feds. And I'll play that from today. Let me play that right now. Play that for y'all right now. Play that for y'all right now, man. Play that for y'all right now. You got $1.50. Got $1.50. Got $1.50.
Raids of the contraband and the hubbub over the raids of the contraband and the surveillance has made me even more curious about what goes on in those cells and those blocks during raids or otherwise. So I'm pleased to welcome back someone who knows a lot about it. Gene Borrello was an inmate of Unit 4 North, same one Diddy's in. He's a former organized crime associate who spent a total of 13 years behind bars at various facilities. Gene, good to have you back again tonight. So I want to get your reaction to the hearing today. The feds get material that they found during a raid, that the Bureau of Prisons found during a raid, and then the judge says, yeah, can't use it. You're not supposed to take that stuff. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not. I mean, the judge is always going to do what's right. You know, at the end of the day, if the law is the law, he's going to go by it. But at the end of the day, inside, you have no rights, really. Unless the judge rules on that. You know what I mean? They're going to rate yourself regardless if they want or not. They just come in and they ransack you. They don't have to explain why. They just do it. So if they take things that they feel could be evidence, they're going to take it.
I was super surprised that his lawyer said in a filing against this that Diddy's got a locker. They said he has a locker in which he can put his legal papers. Have you ever seen anything in 4 North looking like a locker for each inmate?
Yes, we all have lockers, but here's the thing. When they come and search your cell, you have to unlock it. I mean, that's just what it is. They have every right to go inside your stuff and search it because a lot of people hide things in their legal mail because they feel like you can't go in there, but they still go in there. They hide drugs and weapons in there and all kinds of stuff. So they have every right to go through that.
So the way that the feds say it happened is that Diddy has a bunk, and on top of his bunk was a manila folder that said legal, and then some other stuff like a to-do, things to do journal, and some other papers. And they said they didn't touch the manila folder that said legal. They just shook it to see if there were drugs or contraband in there, and then they photographed the other stuff. And now the judge is saying they can't have any of it till they sort through a lot of it. The feds even said they put it through a filter team to make sure it was, safe stuff. I got to ask you about the bed, though, because I've been reading about the bed, and I'm going to show the viewers. I got my son when he was a kid. Was in karate, and this is his karate belt, and I measured it, and it's exactly 1.5 inches thick. And I'm told that the mattresses are 1.5 inches thick. Like, that's it? Is this your mattress when you're in there?
No, it's not true. No, it's not true. They're a lot thicker than that. And actually, when you have money there, you could buy extra mattresses from other inmates that have, like, when people leave, they leave you a mattress. So you'll have someone that has 3 mattresses laying on this, like, this thick. So, and they can actually make it into one. They create anything in it. They can sew it together. They can make you a pillow, anything. You could pay the inmates to make you things, and they'll make it for you. So he probably has a bed this thick and the pillows and everything. Yeah.
Okay, the pillows, that's another. So this is another rumor and some press that's been out there saying that you're not allowed pillows in 4 North. Is that not true?
All right, so when they make the pillows and they do a search, they will take it and they just make them again. That's all it is.
What do you make them with?
The cotton. They get the cotton, or they get like certain material, soft materials, and they sew it into like a shirt, and they make it into like an actual real pillow. It actually works.
Does everybody pretty much have one of those, or just the lucky ones?
Yes. No, usually everyone has one. Yeah.
Huh. What about like chores and stuff? Are you in 4 North? Are you every inmate have to do chores and have a hierarchy or anything like that?
No, there's nothing really to do in there. You basically just lay around all day. There's no chores. I mean, if you want to lay in your bed all day, you can lay in your bed all day. There's no movement really. The only time you move is either a visit or you go to medical or something like that. That's it. Other than that, you're not moving around the building. You're not allowed to. Nobody in our facility, nobody in our dorm can work in the regular facility.
What about TVs? Is there just one for the unit and everybody has to decide?
So there's 2 sides. So there's going to be 2 TVs down over here, and there's going to be 2 TVs down over there. It's a big dorm. So you're going to have people that sit in the back that watch the TV, and people that sit in the front that watch the TV.
Okay, quick last question. Since Thanksgiving's coming up, did you ever spend Thanksgiving behind bars? And if so, do you think MDC is going to have any kind of Thanksgiving meal for the inmates?
Yeah, they always do. Every holiday, they give you special meals. They do. Yeah, Thanksgiving, they actually give you a decent meal. Yeah, actually, it's not that bad for jail. It's not that bad. Yeah. But I do want to say one. They'll give you turkey. They'll give you like cranberries. They'll give you a regular Thanksgiving meal.
All right, 10 seconds left. You wanted to add something. What is it?
They'll never give him bail. Never happening.
Yeah, I kind of get that idea as well.
If he does get bail,
listen.
Yeah. If he does get bail, it means he's helping them. That's it. That's the only way you get bail in the feds. Usually, that's it.
Super interesting.
That's how it.
Gene Barello, I could talk. Listen.
Yeah. If he does get bail, it means he's helping them. That's it.
Yeah, I kind of get that idea. Seconds left. You wanted to add something. What is it?
They'll never give him bail. Never happening.
Yeah, I kind of get that idea as well.
If he does get bail,
listen.
Yeah. If he does get bail, it means he's helping them. That's it. That's the only way you get bail in the feds. Usually, that's it.
Super interesting.
That's how it.
Gene Barello, I could talk to you for hours and hours.
No, that's Gene Barello. He says that Diddy will never get bail. He's been in that same detention center. He says the only way they get bail is if he's helping, if he cooperate. And now, as I told y'all, the judge just dropped that paperwork this morning. And the judge says Diddy's lawyers better be prepared to come into court tomorrow and answer why legal appeared on those photos, on those folders, but it wasn't in those photos when the feds took those pictures. They got some big questions to answer tomorrow in court, and he wants to know why they didn't mention that before the hearing yesterday. This thing is gonna be showdown on Friday afternoon tomorrow. On Friday, it's gonna be on Friday, right? So it's not tomorrow; it's on Friday. On Friday, man, this is gonna be something else on Friday, bro. This is going down on Friday, y'all. This is gonna be like, God, dog. It's gonna be a showdown on Friday because, to me, this will be his last chance ever to get bail. I don't think he'll ever get a chance after Friday to get bail, and I don't think he's gonna get it, man. Based off this right now, what just happened today, what the judge just put out, because the judge made the ruling yesterday, but then that lets you know that the judge went back to chambers last night, and when he went back to chambers, bro, he looked at that stuff in chambers and he said, "Hold on." And the judge put that together. That's the only reason why the judge has not written any letters this entire time. That's the first letter the judge has written. And he wrote his first letter to Diddy's team. And this same judge, and everybody was wondering, why is this judge ruling everything in Diddy's favor? He ruled everything in Diddy's favor. Diddy's lawyers demanded the shackles be taken off. He said, take them off. They demanded to have an evidentiary hearing. He gave them the evidentiary hearing. They demanded to have another bail hearing. He gave them another bail hearing. But now he comes out today and says that on Friday, at that bail hearing, you better have an explanation to why those papers were marked. And we're going to find out. And again, we're going to have to find out why those papers said legal on them afterwards and not when the raid happened and they took those pictures. That is going to be a big question. Big question. And I think, me personally, if you don't want them to check any of your things that's supposed to be attorney-client privilege, you have to have all that in the legal folder. But they said that wasn't, and they proved it with showing pictures. So what's going to happen is now Diddy's lawyers are going to have to come up with an explanation, because the judge not only said that, he said that you need to explain why you didn't say this to me beforehand as well. Read that last paragraph right there, y'all. Read that last paragraph. So the only thing that happened yesterday that the prosecution messed up on, they didn't mention that yesterday in court. And I told y'all that yesterday while we was on here live. I said, why didn't they mention that in court? That was right there. They could have mentioned that in court yesterday. That, hey, well, the paper, when we took the pictures, none of that said legal right here. Look at the photos. We got all the timestamp photos right here of the same folders. Now, all of a sudden, they say legal? So that's why the judge said that. This is going to be crazy to find out what happens. And I'm pretty sure that Diddy's lawyers are going to try to write a rebuttal. But notice one other thing, and I told y'all this. The judge never said that they couldn't take those. The judge never said that they could not, the feds could not use those phone calls they had. Think about all that stuff. And then they said this yesterday as well. They said yesterday, the legal expert that was on this case, he said yesterday on the Law and Crime channel, he said yesterday, so the dude who said, why am I covering the NBA? I am on my other channel. You just late. So the judge said yesterday, right? I mean, excuse me, not the judge. The legal analyst said yesterday that, oh, they're just allowing Diddy to rack up all of these crimes. And he said it after I told y'all this. He said it last night. He said, man, they allowed Diddy to rack up all these crimes, then come back and hit his ass with more charges. Right? So, and I'm going to play this for y'all right now. Right now, what he was saying yesterday. Because the lady, she did the interview with him. And she asked him. She was like, hey, well, why is he... let me put this on here for y'all right now. I'll let y'all hear it yourselves. Here we go.
Combs' son King even started posting old videos on his Instagram account. King said he wanted to spread good energy and take everyone down memory lane to show people the good things that his dad had done. I want to bring in Justin Paperny. He is a prison consultant. Justin, your thoughts?
So this guy's a prison consultant. My bad. Here we go right here.
On Sean Combs, allegedly, and I'll say allegedly because this is what the government is saying in their response, he's breaking the rules and breaking the law, they say. They say he is obstructing justice all over the place in the MDC, and it almost sounds like they're just letting him do it because it's helping their case as they present this evidence or plan to present it to the grand jury.
Well, let me start by apologizing to your millions and millions of followers, because in a prior video I said, I think he can get it together in prison. I think there's a chance for him to understand that he's making decisions that could send him to life in federal prison. Accept my apology, I was wrong. He makes decisions that only exacerbate his struggles. He blames, he excuses, and he fails to understand that the prosecutors don't view him as a mogul or father or husband, but as someone who creates victims. So rather than use his time in prison to try to demonstrate that he's different than the government thinks and really make himself a candidate for a bond or bail hearing, instead he continues to double down on jury tampering, potentially continuing to blame and excuse, saying things over the phone that he should not say. And it's just a continuation of really terrible, awful conduct. And either the lawyers cannot get through to him or they continue to enable this conduct. Either way, he's continuing to make terrible decisions.
Sean Combs, according to the government, is doing a number of things that are huge no-nos. He's using other inmates' phone accounts and PIN numbers, PAC numbers, whatever you're going to call them. He's paying them so he can do this. The government's fully aware. They know this game. You know, this is what goes on in prisons. How is this allowed, or how does this continue when you're in a prison? I mean, are these things that are pretty commonplace and the prisons just know this stuff goes on, or does it really only go on when you're talking about people accused of really, really bad, heinous crimes? I mean, it could be like drug crimes. It could be things like this, sex trafficking. It could be murder, things of that nature. I guess it could be any number of crimes, but this seems very clear from what the government is claiming, that he's taking great steps and he's going to great lengths to circumvent the system and to manipulate it, to reach out to people and to have family members reach out to people. And he's trying to hide it by using other people's accounts.
From a minimum security camp where I served time all the way to a detention center and every prison in between, there are people who are going to engage in this prison hustle. iPhones, drugs, violating these rules. And it's easier to cross the line or give into temptation or justify why he's doing it. Because if anything, he thinks he's the victim here. He thinks he's been wronged. He thinks he should be free. He doesn't think he did anything wrong at all. So for that reason, he may be telling himself, the government's out to get me. I've got to take matters into my own hands. And in any prison, there's going to be prison hustlers who earn their living, who make money by selling iPhones or drugs, giving access to things that someone otherwise would not be able to get. Then you convince yourself they're not going to find out. And of course, they know everything. Prisons care about security of the institution. That means it is like 24-hour security. We've had issues with these prisons in New York. So you could expect a celebrity like Holmes is going to have more scrutiny. If anything, like all eyes are on him. So what they'll do at times is they'll let him begin. They'll let him engage. So if it's on an illegal phone, they're not going to catch him like day one. They may let him use it.
Now, y'all heard that? That's what I told y'all. This is what the feds do. I've been told y'all that. They going to let him rack up all these charges, all these violations. They going to let his list get long. So when they come, they say, man, we got a whole long list of stuff. So the more they let him get it, they said he was doing this from the beginning when he came in. So think about this. They're saying that, look, that prison, they let him violate the rules. Let him go ahead and keep violating all the rules because we just racking up a list of them. They could have went and jammed him up the first time, but they didn't. They let him do it so that they have all this profile against this dude when they go back to court.
What they'll do at times is they'll let him begin. They'll let him engage. So if it's on an illegal phone, they're not going to catch him like day one. They may let him use it, and they're going to listen. They're going to get information that they could use against him. And the longer he goes without getting caught, it could embolden him. Like, well, this is working. I'm getting my message out there, maybe to the children, to post things on social media that can influence the jury. Boom, they get that. And of course, they argue these points. So he thinks he's making decisions as a victim. He has to do these things, but of course the government views it differently. And all he's doing is continuing to prove, at least according to the government's perspective, that this is a bad dude who should not be released to the community. Whether he offers us 50 million, 500 million, or 5 billion, he ain't getting out.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think there's any way they're giving him bail, especially because they're saying that with sex trafficking, detention is presumed. That is what the government says. So I don't think he's going to get out, especially when we're talking about, allegations of violence, witness tampering. The Fed said this is why they scooped him up when they did.
Yeah, and one other thing, because I thought that Diddy's legal team, and I got to say this, and y'all smash the like button and subscribe, y'all not subscribed. I thought Diddy's legal team did one great thing, though. And here's the one great thing I think Diddy's legal team did. They did two great things, even though they're in a horrible situation, in my opinion. The two great things I think they did was first of all, they're forcing tomorrow the government to show more evidence. So that means they have more time, evidence that they may not have seen yet, that may be presented tomorrow. They have more time before the trial to prepare for that. That's different if you get that evidence late. And it's like, damn, we ain't got enough time to prepare for that, because they asked for a speedy trial. See what I'm saying? So that's one thing I think that they did that they needed, because they don't know. And so if they can find out who some of the victims or witnesses or whoever are, that can help them kind of, build a better defense, because they don't really know everywhere in every place, shape, or form these people are coming from. You understand what I'm saying? The other part, I forgot what else I was going to say, man. But hold on, let me rewind this. It's going to remind me real quick. As soon as I rewind this, it's going to remind me.
I don't think I don't think there's any way they're giving him bail, especially because they're saying that with sex trafficking, detention is...
yeah. The Mike Jeffries thing. I thought Diddy's lawyers did a great job by bringing up that, because there's no way in hell Mike Jeffries should be out on bail, in my opinion. There ain't no way in hell, bro. That man got all them little dudes that's out here accusing him. Now, that is absolute disgust. But here's the thing, because the judge mentioned that yesterday. He was like, well, you're going to have to show me. He said, well, what about the Mike Jeffries thing? They got him on bail, $10 million. But here's the thing right here that you had to notice, that the prosecution said before they left the court yesterday. The prosecutor said no. And remember, this is coming out the same district, New York. They said, no, this is much different. And the judge told them, well, you had better be ready basically to prove it on Friday. And they will. See, they're trying to say, and that's when she talked about the arson, the witness tampering, all these other things that they're saying, the violence, the beatings, all these other things that they're alleging that Diddy did. Well, they're going to have to show that in court tomorrow. But now with this situation that happened with this legal paperwork that y'all see on y'all screen, that changes the whole ball game. Because now Diddy's lawyers got to come in. They can't just come in focusing. Their whole game plan has been changed now. Because they went from thinking they got a big victory yesterday to this shit could be turned to being a travesty. Because they go to court tomorrow, they got to explain how legal got on those papers when it wasn't on there when they did the raid, except for one. So now Diddy's lawyers are in a bind. But I do want to see how they're going to present the difference between the Mike Jeffries thing, because ain't no way in hell Mike Jeffries should be out on bail. Not all the stuff that they allege he was doing. Ain't no way in hell. And that's the dude from Abercrombie and Fitch. There ain't no way in the world he should be out on bail. So I thought that was good of the judge bringing that up, and I thought that Diddy's team was smart for pointing that out. But the prosecution says, nah, this is much different. And they said that they're going to show the proof on Friday. So on Friday, we're going to see what the proof is on Friday.
Presumed. That is what the government says. So I don't think he's going to get out, especially when we're talking about, allegations of violence, witness tampering. The Fed said this is why they scooped him up when they did, because not because the investigation was over, but because he was tampering with witnesses. I want to talk now about something you just brought up, and I had brought it up earlier in the show, the fact that they say he's running a PR campaign from the MDC. the jail video, the birthday video with the kids and the singing of happy birthday, and he's monitoring the analytics on his Instagram to see if it's having the desired effect. He's
Yeah, that's another thing. Answer this question. They say they have proof that Diddy's monitoring the analytics. How in the hell they're gonna have to provide how he got the cell phone? So to me, they're gonna have to use either one of those people they're gonna use as an undercover informant, one of those inmates is an undercover informant to whom gave him the phone, or the feds planted somebody in there to approach Diddy. That could have been a situation where the feds, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, bro. I think, me personally, I think somebody was planted in there to approach Diddy and to give him a phone. Bro, listen, let me tell y'all something, man. The biggest snitches in the world be looking like the biggest gangsters. And they could be working for the police. All you gotta do is go back, bro. They be telling y'all this stuff in the movies. Straight up. No, go back and watch The Wire. You think they thought that Bubbles was a snitch at first? No, they thought he was just a druggie that was out here buying. They didn't know he was out here giving everybody up. They knew, they'd off his ass. I think they put somebody in there who looked like he was a high-tech, probably, scammer or whatever like that, or doing. And I think that they sent somebody to send this dude a burner that was tapped. That's what I think. I think Diddy was sent up because there ain't no way that they're gonna find out that you sending those third-party text messages unless they know who gave you that phone and they got access to that phone. There ain't no way. There ain't no way. Somebody had to snitch, bro. Somebody had to set this dude up that was on the inside. Probably approached him, said, yo, I get you this phone, dog. You need this phone? I got to get a phone. How I get a phone, man? Boom. There ain't no way. That phone had to have been tapped for them to be able to hear those calls. And then on the jail calls, you're already going to get those. But they said he used 8 other inmates' pack numbers to make 3-way calls. Well, that means that they were monitoring all those pack numbers. They interviewed those inmates who used those pack numbers. And I'm not saying that all those inmates snitched, but damn it, for them to know he used 8 different pack numbers, somebody, like I said before, man, something ain't right there, man. And you're gonna find out. They had to have used it had to been an informant or inside man somewhere along the way, a plant that set this shit up. Had to be. Because there's no way that he goes in there, because there's all kind of stuff that's going on in there that they don't know about yet. I mean, they're on to some of the stuff, but not all of the stuff. I just think they had somebody that was just real, and it might have been somebody he thought that he trusted. You know what I'm saying? You never know what a person will do if they say, hey, man, we'll shave off some of your time, or we'll cut back some of your charges. We want this is more important to us than whatever your shit you got going on. You never know what a person would do. Or they can just plant a fraud in there. They can plant somebody in there that ain't even supposed to be in the jail and just plant you in there, have you in there looking like an inmate, and you feed him this phone, because Diddy's lawyers never spoke about that. How they know he was putting money on these people's books? That's what they said in the writing. How they know he was doing all these different things from different avenues? They had to have somebody that was on this dude's helmet that set him up. They even said they got on the records, the phone records, showing where he was recorded telling his sons what to do. And then you're monitoring the analytics. That means you had to have a smartphone or a tablet to be able to monitor analytics. Because that's what they said in the writing. They said that they have proof that Diddy, they said they were watching Diddy monitor the analytics from the social media to see who was liking that campaign. They were watching all that shit. So me personally, it has to be a snitch in there, bro. Has to be. Ain't no way that you pull that off and that they ain't got no plan in there, bro. There ain't no way, bro. They on the jail phones, they can get you. They're all recorded. They're going to be monitoring you. But don't tell me that you ain't see people that's in there. It's always people that's snitching in jail, bro. It's always people that's snitching in jail. It's always gonna be a few people that's snitching, that's giving up info. Yo, I seen this, I seen that, I seen that, I seen this, I seen him, or somebody else got snitched on for helping him. Yo, I seen this person give this person this, that, and the third. Boom. People always trying to do whatever they can do to get their time shaved off. That's why I told y'all, when you go to jail, rule number one, before you go to trial, you don't talk to nobody. Nigga, I don't trust nobody, nigga. Nigga, I ain't saying a word, nigga. That's it. Hey, what's up? Peace. Nothing. Ain't nothing else to say. If you're Diddy, why in the hell are you writing this stuff down on your papers? That's supposed to be in your brain. You're supposed to have things that's burnt in your brain that never leave your memory. I'm not writing nothing down. It's all in my brain. Now you can't take what's out of my brain and use that against me. Because they will set you up going into your trial to get you to break the law. Send people your way. So now what happens is now they're going to say, okay, well, this guy's innocent. Why is he doing all these maneuvers in jail? Why is he telling people to do this? Why is he paying witnesses allegedly? Why is he out here instructing his sons to run down on people? Why is they doing it? That's what they're going to say. And they're going to use that along with the other charges, which they call obstruction of justice. Notice, like I told y'all, they didn't charge him for any of the jail violations. They said he broke all these violations in jail. They didn't charge him for any of that stuff. They didn't charge him for any of it. Yet, somebody talking, bro. Somebody's talking. There's got to be somebody in there. They say they interviewed all those inmates, and they say they interviewed Diddy as well. Somebody talking. Somebody, it was either talking or they planted somebody in there to give that to set Diddy up. That's the only way. That's the only way. Because they were monitoring him, but still, for him to feel comfortable, Diddy has to know they're monitoring him. For him to feel comfortable to still do that. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. So he has an uphill battle, man, because once they play those tapes and the stuff he said on tapes, because remember, I showed y'all this on his channel. They already have all that stuff documented down. They put it on the They blacked out all of the things he said with people's names in it. They blacked that out. I will show you guys this one more time. They blacked that stuff out. They have all of his writings, and they blacked out all these things they said he was saying in these messages. Look at it. That's going to be the stuff that they present in court because that's case-sensitive information. Look. All those things they say they have him talking on the phone, they put that in that 30-page writing. 30-page writing. Right? Then I'm going to tell you guys the biggest dagger of them all. And I could have used this for a different video. I could have used this for a whole different video, but I ain't going to do it. I'm going to give y'all this right now. Ray J met with the Combs boys recently. And Ray J slipped up and let it be known. And now Ray J is out here saying, oh, well, these stories are out of control. After Ray J said 1 month ago he was going to expose everybody, people was getting they booties taken, all kind of stuff. Now, all of a sudden, Ray J have completely changed his story. And he said on national TV, is Ray J out of his mind? Why would you say on national TV, yeah, I met with Diddy's sons? After the fact, after y'all supposed to be getting ready to go to war. But then you're on TV, he's saying, he changed up his whole statement. Look, listen to this. Listen to this.
Ray J's take on the latest.
Now, hold on. Now, listen to this end part where he said he met up with him.
At this point, you know, we had to all sit down and we had to really figure out what this looks like and doesn't go into something super violent. That's very important, you know, moving forward.
Well,
and as far as, you know,
take,
as far as the go ahead.
No, go ahead. As far as what?
No, and then as far as Diddy's sons, yeah, it's been a lot, and I think at this point, we had to all sit down and we had to really figure out what this looks like and what we should do moving forward. And so we worked out our differences, and I think that when we talked in the beginning, creating these mentorship programs and creating something new to help young entrepreneurs when they're falling by the wayside is absolutely needed in these situations. I mean, if you even just look at me, sometimes you need certain guidance before you jump off the edge, and a lot of times that's.
So he said we met and we had to figure this out, and then he said that, but also said this, and people are going in on Ray J because he said this now. He said that the stories are outrageous.
Ray J's take on the latest joins us now. Thank you very much for coming on short notice. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Chris. Always good to talk to you.
So, Ray J, what is your take on the suggestion that Diddy is powerful enough that he can reach out, even if behind bars, like some kind of mob boss, and get people to tell people to shut up, or I'll pay you if you shut up, and be effective?
Look, I don't know how real that is. I think when you're in jail, I think you should also know how to move and not do stupid stuff like that. I think a lot of the stories are becoming out of control and super extreme. Again, you start one way, and then as it builds, there's thousands of people coming in, creating a new narrative. And when you do your research or your due diligence on it, a lot of it doesn't come back real. So now you're stuck in a position to go,
how doesn't it come back real? Hasn't even went to court yet. And how did it go left? Most of all the people are saying the same thing. They said they got given a drink, passed out, and next thing they know, they was getting done. And then you know what? I mean, that's pretty much the story everybody's been given, man and woman. They've been saying that I've never seen that change. They said I was given a drink, I was out. Next thing I know, my gluteus maximus was in shambles. That's the story pretty much everybody's been given. Different times, different places. That's the only thing. That's the same story. Everybody, I have not seen the story change. But Ray J was the same dude 1 month ago that said people was getting their booties taken. And that he was going to expose names. But now he said that he said this on national TV. He said he met with those boys.
And as far as Diddy's sons, yeah, it's been a lot. And I think at this point, we had to all sit down and we had to really figure out what this looks like and what we should do.
What this looks like and what we should do. He said him and Diddy's sons had to sit down, talk about that. What this looks like after they was ready to jump his ass. Like, share, subscribe, man. This type of stuff, man, listen, bro. I'll say it again, man. You either stand on truth or you stand on, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, you pick a side, man. You know what I mean? You pick a side, man. But like I said before, though, man, you know what I'm saying? I felt the way. I felt the way because you tell me how old that person is on that tape. Somebody got to tell me that right there. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man, like I said before, man, some stuff, man, like I said, man. And we don't, like I told y'all in the last video, we don't want to believe it. We want to say, oh, man, no. If it's your kid that came and told you this, would you believe it? Or would you tell your kid, oh, nah, you lying, I don't want to hear that. No, you're going to believe your kid and you're going to stand on business. But when it's somebody else's kid, now we don't have compassion. This is what I was saying in the last video. Now we don't care no more when it's somebody else's kid. I told y'all, I come from an era, bro. I come from an era. The era I come from, when your kid was acting up and acting a fool, the neighbors would correct your kid. They would call you, tell you they corrected you, and then send you home and you get another correction once you got home. And the parents would thank the neighbors for standing on business. But now we live in an era where it's twisted and it's backwards now. We live in an era now where if your kids is out here acting a fool, I can't correct your kids. Because if I correct your kids, you gonna come get mad at me trying to fight me. Everything has changed now. Everything has changed. So now we don't care about other people's kids no more. It's all about our kids. That's it. It ain't about nobody else's kids. Nope. And they wonder why people don't come out with these allegations. Now, some people lying. Yeah, some people's lying. Some people's capping. That's true. But when we say everybody's lying, come on, man. We can't do that, bro. No dice. All it takes is one. All it takes is one. And like I said, it's so different with the youth because a lot of the times the youth can't defend themselves. A lot of people, listen, it's a lot of people that's in here right now that had things happen to them when they were young. They never talked about their whole life. Whether it was fear, whether y'all didn't want it to be known, whether you were ashamed, whether you never wanted to talk about it. This is the truth. We got to come to reality and understand that's the truth, bro. Right? So I'm just saying, man, the environment you grow up in, that's what you're going to become like. If you grew up in an environment where, hey, man, look, man, you're going to have to show discipline around here. Guess what? You're going to have some success. If you grew up in an environment that's filled with drugs, guns, violence, all these other things, what do you think you're going to be? You're going to be a product of your environment. Y'all see these people, parents, sending their sons and their daughters straight to hell. The dude that sent his son in there to kill that rapper over in Cali, PNB Rock, this man sent his son straight to hell. He sent his son, he gave his son a one-way ticket straight to hell. Not sending him to school to get his education. Not sending him to a job to learn how to have, you understand what I'm saying, responsibility. But you're going to send him in here to go kill a dude and rob a dude, steal from a dude, and send himself straight to hell, throw his life away. That has to mean something to us. It has to mean something to us. And y'all wonder why things are going the way they go. Like I said, you could be an adult. You got a consenting adult. She cool with it. You cool with it. Hey, man, we doing whatever. Hey, do you. But when you're talking about drugging people and all this stuff, and people are ignoring the things that people have said that have been around Diddy on a day-to-day basis. They're ignoring that. You have people that have been around Diddy every single day that were working with him that admitted that they were doing these things, lacing these people's drinks. So how is it impossible to believe when you have people on tape saying shit like this? That's all I want to know.
I want to get your opinion. You know, you was around Puffy, you was on Bad Boy. You know, looking at this lawsuit, Cassie, she claims that her and Diddy had freak-off sessions where they would get a male.
You talking about the freak-off session where they used to do in the studio and all of that over different entertainers' houses and stuff? Where they be having them parties where they won't invite you to? And they be like, we having a party tonight, but this ain't your kind of party. You be like, yeah, I ain't going. I don't want to go. Freak-off parties, where you go in there to be, yo, let me tell you something. We used to go in the club. We go into the nightclub, right? And we go and get to the VIP. All of these girls come around the VIP, and they just be standing there. And like, let me tell you something, man. I'm going to get back with you. We got to rewind this back. We used to go to when we go to the club, we used to have these bottles, right? And on this bottle, they be regular Moet bottles. On them bottles right there, they been had something to make the girls be real slippery and all of this kind of stuff. So when you get up, they be like, don't touch them bottles right there and only drink them bottles right there. So we already knew what the drill was. You just don't mess with them bottles, right? Then all of the girls is in the club after a while. They all opening up their mouth like little birds. He just run around just popping pills in their mouth. Pop pill.
Come on, man. What we doing? What we doing? That man said we used to do this. What are we doing? But now we can't believe when somebody say, yo, this shit happened to me. Think about that now. You got people who was rolling with this cat that say, yo, we used to do this. Like literally, he put himself in the play. He didn't say, oh, no, that was just Diddy. He said, no, we used to do this. Listen to the words again. Listen to the words again. But that's why I don't understand our moral goddamn compass when it comes. And I'm talking about the youth as well as anybody's about. But let's talk about the youth. who are saying these things, right? We got to understand, everybody ain't built like some of us built.
Get back with you. We got to rewind this back. We used to go to when we go to the club, we used to have these bottles, right? And on this bottle, they be regular Moet bottles. On them bottles right there, they've been to have something to make the girls be real slippery and all of this kind of stuff. So when you get up, they be like, don't touch them bottles right there and only drink them bottles right there. So we...
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? That's pre-planning. Right there. Pre-planning. He said, they already said, hey, yo, y'all don't touch them bottles over there. Only touch them bottles right there, all right? We used to get those girls those bottles right there. And then look.
You already knew what the drill was. You just don't mess with them bottles.
We already knew what the drill was. But, like, bro, like I said before, man, as again, you should pick a side. Pick a fucking side, man. Excuse my language, y'all. But while we picking a side, somebody got to tell me how old these girls is on that table, my nigga. Tell me, man. Tell me, nigga. And what would you do if that was your daughter? Let that shit sit on your brain, on your soul, your spirit, and your conscience. And if you can live with that shit, you's a diabolical motherfucker.